Are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about the utility of man. When I was a kid, I remember I was thinking about me. When you are a kid, you're feminine, boys and girls. And what that entails is that you are more emotional than you are in the future, hopefully. And so it's all about what happens to me. And me. You don't think about anyone else very often. Now, your parents are there to help you to, over time, understand the needs of others, especially if you're a boy, because you're just selfish. And so I would always come to her and say, I'm bored. I'm so bored. Bored. Do you know what she'd tell me? She'd say, go clean that. How about you go clean that? Go clean that. And eventually, because I was like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. She eventually just said, go make yourself useful. Useful. So this is what we're discussing today. How to be useful as a man. The utility of man. Are you useful? Can people use you? And I'm not talking about a win-lose situation. I'm talking about a win-win situation where you're collaborating with each other in order for you to find a better situation that made both of you richer in some regard. In order for us to understand how to be useful, we need to understand the big picture of why we're even here. Like, what's the purpose of this life, really? Because if you don't know what the long-term game is and what this life is for, then how can you know how to make yourself useful towards which destination? Does that make sense? So, very simply put, I always state that the purpose of life is joy, bliss, and happiness. And then Jordan B. Peterson will say, well, no, you can't say that because no one has happiness and everyone's suffering all the time, blah, 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 okay? Well, he's right to some extent. But if we take it to the next level, then what is the purpose of life? Well, it's to master. It's to get to the point where we understand joy, bliss, and happiness and what it takes for us to actually have it. Because there are people who do have joy, bliss, and happiness on the planet, aren't there? So what principles are being applied? What big picture thinking is necessary for us to tap into that science? Because it is a science. It's not like it's magic that you suddenly feel joy, bliss, and happiness. It came through a series of steps or a series of events that led to you feeling joy, bliss, and happiness. So if we understand how that works, then we can actually figure out the long-term game. We can figure out how life works. We can figure out how to make us useful in order for us to master that and get it. When my mom told me to make myself useful, she told it to benefit me, not to benefit other people, right? I was the one who was bored. So if I make myself useful, that means that I'm actually not bored anymore. I'm solving problems. I'm helping out. I'm doing something for humanity in general. Or for my family, my brothers, whatever what was going on at the time. So, you know the long-term game now. Is to master joy, bliss, and happiness. How do you do that? Well, guess what? There's such a thing called karma. Have you heard about it? People say that karma is a bitch, but you could also say karma is a legend. Okay, karma, like you've got the opposite of karma too. Whatever you send out, you're going to receive back tenfold, hundredfold, thousandfold. You don't know how many folds. Because when you help out one person, like you really help them out, and you change their life completely. Now let's say you're a life changer. You know that person is going to have kids. And those kids are going to have grandkids. And those grandkids are going to have great grandkids. So in essence, when you're changing one person's life, you're changing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of lives. We don't know how long this life continues. We don't know how long this world continues. We don't know how long the universe extends. So if you're changing one person's life, you are changing generations. That's making yourself useful. And guess what? You benefit from that too. It's not just the people that you help that benefit. It's a win-win situation because of karma. This is one of the reasons why it's so crucial that you don't hurt people on purpose. Because that damage continues thousandfold. It's not like heaven keeps count or whatever, okay? It's about who you're becoming. What you consistently do, what's habitual to you. Who are you? Because that's really what matters in the long run. That's really what matters in terms of your joy, bliss, and happiness. That's what matters in terms of you having peace with yourself. That's what it means to be high value. If you actually understand the game, live it to the best of your abilities, make yourself useful, this is what's going to create your joy, bliss, and happiness. You simply have to master it. So, as a man, what is our purpose? To build, to solve, to lift, to lead, to provide, to protect. You know what the role of a man is. I don't have to tell you what that role is. You know, inherently. Why? Because you want those things. The more masculine you are, the more you recognize that, you know what? I'd like to have a family one day. The more feminine you are, the more you are like, no, I don't want any responsibilities. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to blah, 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 take on women in my life. I said women, not woman. To take on one woman, yeah, that's a big problem. That gives you issues. Okay? That causes problems that can't be solved if you take on one woman. But if you understand how 3 in Love works, go down in the description, Women of High Value channel, go subscribe there. You have to understand 3 in Love. Because that gives you better purpose. Once you understand that family is supposed to be done in a different way. Make yourself useful. The system of life is perfect. The system of life is perfect. There's no mistake here. You were placed here for a reason. You were placed here at this time for a reason. And everything works the way that it's supposed to work. And you simply have to just apply the principles that causes joy, bliss, and happiness for you, but more importantly, for others. Because that's what creates your joy, bliss, and happiness. Stop being selfish. Stop thinking about yourself. The more emotional you are as a man, the more you feel, the more selfish you are. And now, there is some inherently good aspect to selfishness. I actually teach that. Masculinity is selfish. Femininity is unselfish, right? But in men, okay, that selfishness can be used for win-win, but it is so crucial that we end up serving other people to get to serve ourselves the most. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you do service in order for you to be selfish, but that elevates everyone. It's crazy. It's a genius system. And you simply just have to tap into it. Master the game, and then go teach it to somebody else. If you know how to get joy, bliss, and happiness, it's time for you to teach other people. If you haven't mastered the game of life, you need to learn it. You need to understand it. The science behind joy, bliss, and happiness. And you got it right here on the Men of High Value channel. What I'm going to end with is your most important role. We're talking about utility here. What is your most important role as a man? It is to become a father. It is to become a family man. That's your most important role. No matter what the world tells you, no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter what, that does not mean that you go off and have a child, because then you're butchering your role as a father. There needs to be preparation. You need to be in the right mindset. You need to understand this stuff. But when you do, it is your duty, obligation, and responsibility to have children, to create an amazing family, so that the world can have the blessing of your next generation. We need, like, what is it? The triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Having a family is the ultimate aspect of having mastered the game of life. If that family is having joy, bliss, and happiness. Now, most families are dysfunctional, but on this channel, the Men of High Value and the Women of High Value channel, we teach you how to master that aspect of your life. And that's what's going to give you everything that you want. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you guys in the next one.